Today we're going over the top 5 things you should do before you list a house when it comes to curb appeal. Now it's no secret the curb appeal is your first impressions when you're actually listing a house. We want to make sure that we get them right because whether a buyer sees the house with a for sale sign in it, they're just driving the neighborhood, or they see it on Zillow, chances are they're going to see the outside before they see any of the inside. So it's really important the outside doesn't scare buyers away from clicking on that link on Zillow, or they actually look at inquiring on it because of the for sale sign. Now if you are new here, my name's Spencer Lowe. I'm with United Real Estate Louisville. Make sure you click that subscribe button as well as that bell notification so you never miss another video. With that being said, let's jump into the video. Now the first thing we want to focus on is we want to actually power wash the outside of the house as well as the driveways and walkways. We specifically, if you have a brick house, we want to look at gutters and shutters. They tend to both have a tendency to get a little mildewy, kind of get just a little grime on them. If you have a sided house with siding on it, we really want to make sure that that's cleaned up because those also have a tendency to get mildewy. And a lot of buyers, when they look at it, they're looking at it with a fresh perspective and they're going to notice things that the seller typically doesn't notice. So with that, we want to make sure that's power washed and cleaned up. If you have a front deck or just a walkway as well as your driveways, we want to make sure that we power wash those and maybe even get them resealed, as well as the front deck, get that resealed as well. Just that way it has a fresh look to it and buyers kind of see it as not being a project, but they can move in and not really have to worry about anything. Now the second thing we're going to focus on is the actual landscaping of the property. Now we want to focus on making sure that everything looks like it's cleaned up and well maintained. We want to make sure that there's no dead plants in the landscaping. If there's dead plants or dead trees, we might go ahead and have those removed before we put it on the market and do pictures. We also want to make sure that the shrubs are cut back, there's a fresh layer of mulch, and the grass is cut. And if it's fall time, we want to make sure we pick up the leaves just so that way buyers can see the actual property and they actually get kind of more drawn in, and they also see that it's well kept, because the outside of the house being well kept is going to tell them that the inside of the house has also been well kept. And if the outside of the house looks like it's a project, probably not going to get too many people that are going to click in because they feel like it's a project or a fixer-upper. Now the third thing we're going to focus on is the front door as well as the windows. We really want to make sure that the windows are clean and they actually let natural light in, and that goes for the inside of the house as well, because we just want to make sure that you get a lot of natural light in. The second thing was the front door, and with the front door, make sure that it's neutral, it's actually inviting, and it tends to be the focal point of the curb appeal. So we want to make sure that it's freshly painted if it is painted, or we also might even just look at replacing it altogether, as well as look at the hardware on it. Things like the front door handle has a big impact on how a buyer feels about the property when they walk into it the first time. If the agent's having an issue with the key or getting that door unlocked because it sticks or something like that, that has a big impact as well. So go ahead and make sure that we replace the door handle, maybe replace the door, give it a fresh coat of paint, as well as wash the windows. Makes a big difference on the curb appeal. Now the fourth thing we're going to focus on is the roof as well as the gutters. Now with the roof, we really want to make sure that there's nothing on the roof. A lot of times balls get stuck up there, as well as, tree limbs have fallen onto it. We really want to make sure that all that's cleared off. We also want to make sure with the gutters that they're cleaned out, because let's be honest, the home inspector is probably going to flag them if they aren't cleaned out. They're going to say, hey, the gutters are clogged. We also want to make sure that there's no trees or vegetation growing on the roof or in the gutters. And then the other thing is with the power washing the underneath of the gutters makes a big impact, because let's be honest, they get mildewy, they look kind of grimy, and when buyers show up to see it, they're going to notice that. So make sure that we power wash the underneath of them. We also want to make sure we clean them out, and then also look at the stuff that might be on the roof, vegetation or just limbs that might have fallen on there. Go ahead and clean all that stuff out so that way it's not a potential eyesore for the curb appeal. Now the fifth thing we're going to focus on is the landscape lighting. Now we really just want to make sure that it's all in working order, and if you do have like lights going up to the walkway, that they're not broken or outdated. A lot of times the solar ones, they don't last super long, so you might go ahead and just replace those. And then other than that, we just want to make sure that we have fresh light bulbs in the outside of the house, just to make sure that the property is well lit. A lot of buyers are going to be seeing the property after work, so they get off work at, let's say, 5 or 6, and they come over. Depending on the time of year, it might already be dark outside, so we just want to make sure that the outside of the house is well lit and it's warm and inviting and kind of pulls them inside. Now I know I said we were only doing 5, but the sixth thing that I would do is I would focus on actually staging the outside of the house. Now things like a welcome mat, a rocking chair on the front porch, as well as just a couple other like little touch-up pieces with different flowers and pots and different things like that can have a huge impact on the curb appeal. And let's be honest, buyers buy homes, they don't buy houses. So we really want to make sure that the outside of the house feels like a home and it pulls people inside, whether that's just a welcome mat, maybe a rocking chair, or just fresh potted flowers around. Makes a huge impact on the way a buyer feels about that property. Now, if you made it to this point in the video, I really appreciate you sticking around. I do have a handful of things for you down in the description. I've got my pre-listing checklist, my seller's guide, my buyer's guide, as well as a free home evaluation estimate tool. So if you are curious, go down there, grab that. It's all completely free. I also have my phone number, so if you are in Louisville, Kentucky, and you're looking at making a move, looking at selling or buying, give me a call. I'd love to sit down and talk to you. Phone number's down in the description. If you are new here, make sure you click that subscribe button as well as that bell notification so you don't miss the next video, and I'll see you next time.